calculate the dimensions of rectangles from given information. Let's start and jump right in with an example. A rectangle has an area of 216 square inches and a perimeter of 60 inches. What are the dimensions of this rectangle? Well, we know area and perimeter. So let's recall those formulas. Well, we know that the area of a rectangle is length times width, and the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So what is the information we know? Let's substitute that in. We know the area is 216, so 216 equals length times width, and the perimeter is 60, so 60 equals 2L plus 2W. Now to solve these two, we need to isolate a variable so that we can use substitution. I'm going to solve for L in the area formula by dividing both sides by W. When I do that, I get 216 over W equals L. Now that I have a variable by itself from the area formula, I can use that to substitute into the L in the perimeter formula. So again, remember that was 60 equals 2L plus 2W. In place of the L, we're going to put in that equivalent expression, 216 over W. Now notice we have three terms, 60, 2 times 216 over W, and 2W. All of those terms, all three terms are even, so we can divide them by 2. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. That middle term, the 2 times 216 over W, if I divide by 2, I'm just left with the 216 over W, and then 2W divided by 2 is just W. So that simplifies our equation just a little bit. But now we have a W in the denominator, so we want to multiply every term by W to eliminate the fraction. So that gives me 30W. That middle term again, the 216 over W, the W is going to go away because we're multiplying through by W. And then the last term, W times W, is W squared. So now I have a quadratic equation. We don't have fractions, we don't have parentheses. It looks a lot nicer. So let's go ahead and rearrange that to get the equation set equal to 0. So you'll recall, oops, the W squared, 216s on one side, 30W. So if we subtract 30W from both sides, that will get it to equal 0. So W squared minus 30W plus 216 equals 0. Now that we are in standard form, equals 0, we could use completing the square, we could factor, we could use the quadratic formula. You can use whichever way of solving quadratics is easiest for you. If I just shove those numbers into our quadratic formula, the opposite of b is a positive 30, plus or minus 30 squared minus 4 times 1 times 216 all over 2. When we work out the math there, we end up with W equals 12 or 18. Because remember, with the plus or minus, we're going to be left with two answers. Now, with story problems, and especially with distances and those types of things, you need to check your answers to make sure they work. So here, if we know that the area is 216, length times width, and we know that W has two potential values. If W equals 12, then the length value is 216 divided by 12, which is 18. And if W is 18, then the length is 216 divided by 18, which is 12. So no matter which way you look at it, the dimensions of the rectangle are 12 by 18.